What's going on, everybody? I'm Tank, and if you're new to the channel, which I gotta assume there's gonna be some first timers here just based on what we're doing, I'm what you call a roadie. I'm somebody that goes on tour and works for bands. Most recently, I've been a tour manager and guitar tech, but over the years, I've also been a bass tech, a drum tech, a merchandise manager, a lighting director. I've done pyrotechnics, a lot of different things. And I've done everything from small, dirty bar clubs all the way up to arenas and stadiums. So I've been doing this for a while, and I've seen a lot of different variations of how tours go. Now, I've worked for a lot of bands that you've probably heard of, but instead of just sitting here name dropping and taking up time, if anybody's interested. Okay, for those of you that decided to pause because you were curious, welcome back. Let's get on to what we're doing today. So normally on this channel, I check out music, whether it's music videos or live performances, and we kind of check stuff out and break down production and do reactions and talk about what's going on. But today I wanted to try something different. And this was an idea that I actually had from a lot of members in the YouTube community and in our Discord community. And I actually had been thinking about this for a while and then ran it by my buddy, Nick Nocturnal, who a lot of you guys know. And he told me he thought it would be kind of cool. So I figured, let's just try this and see how it goes. Today, we're going to be checking out the very first episode of a TV series called Roadies. Surprise. Now, this is a series that came out in 2016. And while I haven't sat down and watched the entire thing, I do know there were moments where I might have caught a little when we were on tour. People on the bus were watching it, but it's also been like 7 years and I really don't remember any of this. So I want to watch these episodes. And we'll probably have to cut them down because they're hour episodes and I'm not going to make you watch an hour of this. But I want to go through some of these points and we're going to check out how accurate this show is, because the producer and director and writer of this show is Cameron Crowe, who a lot of people know from Almost Famous and a lot of other stuff. But Cameron was also a journalist with Rolling Stone when he was younger and traveled a lot on the road and saw the behind the scenes of all this. So for me, I'm expecting this TV show to be fairly accurate, a fairly accurate representation of how roadies work and how it actually is on tour. But I have heard mixed reviews about this show, and I looked online. On IMDb, it does have a 7.4 out of 10 rating, which is not that bad. But then if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, while it does have an audience score of about 86%, I believe, which is pretty good, the actual critics review was like 35%. Now, we all know how that goes sometimes. Sometimes critics shit all over something and then the audience actually loves it. So who knows? But what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to watch this series in order, and I will break this up over each episode because it did get canceled after one season. That is one thing to know. We're going to watch every episode. I'm just going to film all of it, and then we're going to break it down into a short thing and talk about what they're doing and see how accurate Roadies really is from an actual roadie. Let's get going. Well, I just learned that I can't spacebar to stop or start any of this, so we're going old school and we're going mouse. So, Roadies, episode 1. Let's go. I think that's a Willie Nelson quote. Tom Petty. I mean, close enough.
Room service.
The day has begun. Our wonderful lead singer's demonic kid.
I came so awesomely hard. Awesomely.
And good morning, Bill.
Okay, so go figure a show about roadies just starts with a full sex scene. But I do, and I can't show a lot of that on here, but for anybody that's missing what happened, because there's a lot of nudity there, it seems like somebody on the tour for this band just hooked up with one of their promoter reps' kids. Now, I say kid because she looked like she was 18 or 19. Let's not get weird. I do want to talk about that quote, though, in the beginning, the Tom Petty quote, where, the general public doesn't really know what roadies do. It's pretty true. A lot of times when I've told people I'm a roadie, they think groupies and roadies are the same thing. So when I've actually heard people tell or describe my job to other people, be like, oh yeah, that guy's a groupie for this band. I was like, no, that is a completely different other thing. But yeah, like when I tell people I'm a tour manager or a guitar tech or something, like I have to explain in detail what I actually do, because if you tell people you work in music and tour, they just assume you're in a band. So I really hope this show is accurate and actually shows what roadies do. But just the start there, I think this is going to be more of a TV drama than actually showing what really goes on with roadies. But let's keep going.
And he was standing on the side of the road, rain falling.
Sleeping with your bunk light on.
Right there. Right there. All of them secrets I'll never reveal.
I'm gonna miss your late night stories, Gooch.
Okay, I do love this because one of my absolute favorite things to do at night on tour, like if I can't sleep or even just to wind down, is to sit in the jump seat with the driver in the front of the tour bus, man. I can't tell you how many good conversations I've had up there with bus drivers. And really more than a lot of other people on tour, bus drivers have the stories, man, because they get put on so many different tours all the time that they've worked with so many people. It's awesome to, you know, gain some of their knowledge and experience and stuff like that. Like I do like this scene because this is accurate. Bus drivers often have company when they're driving up here like this, man. This is a good little touch.
God damn it, it's great to be alive. Especially here in this crazy fucking city that refuses to die. New Orleans, filled with history, truth, ghosts, glory, seafood.
The one thing I did find weird about that last scene right there, though, is like all the buses pulled up and everybody just started getting out like immediately, like they were ready to work and stuff. That's not normal unless you're like having a really far drive or something happens and you're showing up late. Usually the buses will show up at a venue with enough time that like you're waking up and you're already parked and you're there. And the reality is everybody gets up pretty slow. Like when I get up, it's like I have my coffee and then I kind of just be lazy for a while, and then I take my suitcase inside and get changed and ready to go. Like, there's not a lot of situations where you're really off the bus right when you get there and going.
I once saw Wilson Pickett play New Orleans, the Wicked Pickett, and there was literally smoke coming off him. Somebody asked him after the show, they said, Mr. Pickett,
in my 16 years of touring, I've never started off a production day with the entire crew in a circle holding hands telling stories. That's never happened.
New Orleans, baby. They don't settle for heat.
Stop being paranoid, okay? Because nothing is wrong. Don't start spreading rumors that something is wrong. Because nothing is.
It's all good.
Yeah.
All right?
Tour rumors are the best.
Begins with a crack.
No fucking chance. Okay. I have a huge problem with that entire scene. While I have seen people backstage at arenas and stadiums with like skateboards and scooters and stuff, it's usually just to get around, you know, back and forth from like the back doors of the venue to the buses or something like that. In an environment like this, on a larger tour, she would get her ass absolutely chewed out for riding a skateboard through an active load-in. Not to mention she has headphones on, highly dangerous, because if, I don't know, if a forklift is backing up or a stray case goes rolling and somebody yells, hey, watch out, she's going to get fucking hit. And then she brings it on stage underneath where they're rigging all of the truss. No way, dude, she would get yelled at so hard for that. That's not happening.
Just tell me the promoter rep's daughter is over 18.
Oh, she's 22. She's actually studying to be a paleontologist.
And the new promoter is saying we can't have the big dressing room because of the basketball team. Thank you, Anthony. I was just wondering what you guys did when Taylor was down here. Thanks to you, Ron Bank is already making today awesomely hard. Awesomely.
This is Puna. These bands.
Was that a stalker sign?
With an issue, you listen.
Yep.
It's me. I'm getting fired, aren't I?
It's not you. You know who's gonna be really pissed? Right?
Phil.
You know Phil carries a loaded firearm?
And that one thing that we cannot tolerate is firecrackers. This is given to me in 1976 by Ronnie Van Zant. And I have not taken it off.
Who's Robbie Van Zant?
Oh,
Do not put your cups or fingerprints on the piano, okay? See, I got a keyboard player. He can't play if it's not shiny. He can feel a smudge.
yeah, I love that they made a big deal about the piano because I've definitely worked for some artists that like are so specific about their gear that they would freak out like during a show if something was weird about it. I won't name any names in this, but there was an artist that we had a actual like grand piano on stage that we traveled with, and it was the same way. If it wasn't perfectly shiny or if anybody set a drink on it during a show, like somebody had to run out there immediately and take that drink off and like wipe it down and stuff. Like artists can get picky, man.
Puna. It won't happen tonight.
Yeah, right. Like the head of security on a tour is going to predict if something's going to go wrong during a show. It's a TV show, I know. Actually, a very cool shot because that is how it's done in arenas. Usually the stage is built way on one side of the arena while all the rigging and everything is going up. And once everything is flown, everybody pushes it in place. I'm actually kind of glad they threw that in there.
Wesley. Man up at
Oh, Machine Gun Kelly. Forgot about that.
Pearl Jam fired me.
What?
Oh, Machine Gun Kelly was working for Pearl Jam.
Himself.
She's rigging right now.
I have a ticket.
She's tied up. Well, she might not be rigging. She might be a lighting tech, but she's tied up in a harness right now with no helmet, and she's on her cell phone.
How can you leave your band?
That was actually a pretty interesting question at the end there where Machine Gun Kelly's character was asking her, how can you leave your band? Like, you know, one of the things in the music industry that a lot of people always stress is loyalty. A lot of bands always expect loyalty from their roadies and stuff like that, but the reality of the situation is it's fucking business. There's no such thing as loyalty in any business, man, at the end of the day. I mean, people are going to do what's best for their business and they're going to do what's best for their careers. There have been multiple tours that I have quit because whether it was personality issues with the band and I just didn't feel like it was a good environment or other crew members or I got a better job, like I think sometimes there's too much stock put into the loyalty and how could you leave your band? Like, well, the roadies aren't in the band. We're working for a paycheck, man. And if I got a better paycheck somewhere else or a better situation somewhere else, I'm probably going to take that job.
I have to be a fan of something or I'm useless. I'm nothing.
I don't know. I don't think you need to be a fan of something you're working for necessarily. I've worked for a lot of bands who I didn't necessarily like their music, but I've still done the job because I enjoyed them and I enjoyed the actual tour. Oh, this must be the Stalker. Golf carts in arenas are pretty rare. I don't think I've ever seen a golf cart in an arena. Maybe, or stadiums for sure.
And your mistreatment of this band will spread far and wide, and then good luck getting that Brad Paisley date you want so bad. You need this show as much as we do. I know.
Hey, Wes, come on in, dude. You're welcome here, man.
Oh!
Who brought your espresso machine?
Wes. It's happening here too, huh? I heard the coming bloodshed. Someone is going down.
And I think it's me, Wes.
You know what's actually interesting on tour? There are a lot of things that go around in crews that a lot of the times the crew knows what's going to happen before somebody else does. Like, I've been on a lot of tours where, you know, they keep talking about how, oh, we heard somebody's getting fired and blah, blah, blah. I've been on a lot of tours where I knew somebody was getting fired for like a week before they actually did. And then you have to walk around pretending like everything's fine and working with them. And it's actually kind of a weird situation to be in, but there are some times on the road where that's what's best for the tour. I mean, like I said, personalities on tour are a big part of this. And you could be the best person in the world at your job, but if you suck and you can't get along with everybody, then it's just not a good fit and it's going to move on. But this kind of gossip happens on tour a lot. I actually find this whole shtick through the whole episode so far about somebody's getting the axe. It's kind of funny. Oh, hold on. So Luis Guzman, the actor, he was shown as the bus driver earlier in the beginning of the show when we were talking about how much I like riding with bus drivers. It just showed him getting into a hammock in the back of a truck. That's not happening. Most bus companies that lease out buses actually have in their contracts that bus drivers get a hotel room off-site every single day. Reason for that is so they have somewhere to sleep with peace and quiet away from the show, because they're driving every night with sometimes 12 people's safety in their hands. That is not happening.
Excuse me. Where's your pass?
I lost my laminate. I'm Phil's cousin from Atlanta.
Oh. Well, let me get Phil.
Wait.
Get ready for the wild.
Okay, so obviously that scene's not going to make it into this YouTube video, but what just happened is that the stalker snuck backstage. Security stopped her. A security guard, who I may remind you has probably seen her face on that picture all day long. And then she took him into a kitchen and had sex with him and stole his laminate while they were having sex. Not fucking happening. I actually kind of don't like that they threw this trope into this for a couple reasons. One, because in the years of touring that I've done, I've only run into one or two stalker situations, like where we've been backstage and we've been given a heads up, hey, there's like a crazy person in this area. Both times, it was actually guys, not girls. We actually had a situation once where we had to remove all the backstage signage everywhere, so just in case a person got backstage, they didn't know what dressing room to go to. But that is a common stereotype with touring. It's like all the hooking up going on and, you know, women or men hooking up with crew members to sneak backstage. That shit hasn't been happening since like the 90s and, you know, later than that. And that's not to say it's not going on anymore. Like when I was single and young and I was on tour, I did my fair share of partying and stuff like that. But nowadays, dude, you don't see that kind of stuff going on, man. I've never walked anywhere backstage and seen anybody hooking up or anything like that. Like nowadays, this is one of those stereotypes where I'm just like, okay, they threw it in there to be funny or whatever. But yeah, I will say, again, the times that I've dealt with it, it's actually been guys that have been the stalkers and not women.
Management know that you fire people at the end of the night. You don't show up early and dangle your...
Why is there a food truck outside when they had full catering inside?
We're supposed to get the stage at 4 p.m. We postponed fucking headlining shows to do this tour, and we passed on festival gigs in Europe with Neil Young, and now we're fucking sitting around.
We love your band, okay? Just we've had a really rough day.
I have never in my life heard an opening band walk up to the headlining band's tour manager and start screaming like that about not getting the stage. The reality on tour is that while we all like to work on a schedule and there are day sheets that tell us what the schedule should be, sometimes it just doesn't happen for logistical reasons or otherwise. There was one tour that we did, I think in like 2017 or 18, where we were supposed to get the stage at 4 p.m. every single day, just like this, to do our setup and sound check and stuff. And there were a lot of times where we didn't get it till like 6 and doors were at 6:30 and there was 2 other bands before the band I was working for. And in those situations, I mean, honestly, you just kind of eat it. It's the headlining band's tour. If they wanted to sound check up until doors, that's their prerogative. Does it suck? Abso-fucking-lutely. Do I think that band fucking is being shitty? Absolutely. But the reality of the situation is when you're an opener on a tour, you're a guest on that tour. I've never seen opening bands screaming at headlining bands like that about not getting the stage at a certain time. I'd be mad as well, but I'm not saying anything. I might bitch amongst my own crew or something like that, but yeah, that's just... that, again, I don't think that's happening much.
Hey, and who's your dude with the fake English accent? 'Cause he's pissing the fuck out of us.
I know, right? So fake. Good to see you.
Are you busy in about 20 minutes? Management's asked me to have a chat with everybody. You first.
I don't chat, I talk.
Well, Preston asked me to talk to you first. Management wishes to inform you that you are under federal investigation for the resale of items left in storage units by victims of Hurricane Katrina. You've already harmed this band's potential
what?
overseas. You are invited to leave the organization now.
Okay, now this is all news to me. I'm the tour manager, and let me just talk to you.
Now, I have seen people carry on tours. Those people have mostly been security or tour management that have the permits to do so and stuff. But yeah, you wouldn't know. I've never seen somebody just whip out a gun on tour or something. I mean, if that happened on a tour I was on, I don't know how I would react, to be honest. That's just insane. That's just TV. It's interesting that the, what is it, the Staten House band? It's interesting that their front of house engineer is running sound for Head in the Heart. That's not a abnormal situation. There are a lot of times where an opener won't bring certain crew and they'll kick money to somebody in the headlining band's crew, but not super common.
But, wow. Goodness me. That's, now I'm the first to...
Oh, the piano.
Bill, I know that you recently asked management for a retainer.
What?
And it isn't financially feasible at the moment.
So a retainer, for anybody that isn't aware, is similar to how it works in other jobs too, but when roadies are on tour, they usually only get paid when they are actually on tour. And then when you're back home, you find another tour or you have another job if you need to make ends meet and stuff like that. A retainer basically gives usually something like a half pay to a specific crew member while they're at home. So that be basically, it's not necessarily salary, but that's to, like it sounds, retain them. That's to make sure that they're not going to go find another tour while the band they're working for isn't touring. Retainers aren't uncommon, but they're not super common. It's not a normal thing, especially nowadays with how touring is and finances and expenses are. In 16 years of touring, I've had a retainer twice and have been on salary once.
Get ready. I'm here.
Oh, the piano again. This whole scene is weirding me out. Like, this wouldn't happen on the day of a show. They're not going to stop a load-in and all the logistical operations in an arena show just to have a money guy talk to an entire crew.
Can't do this. I'm gonna go work for Taylor Swift.
Oh, the Planet Swift tour. Hey guys, we lost.
Oh, if only it were that easy.
Boat attack. Hey, good, go ahead. I wouldn't feel too bad for Phil. He's already working with Taylor Swift for twice the pay and free legal, like Shelley. But, you know.
How is everybody in this show all of a sudden just working for Taylor Swift like it's that fucking easy?
Dream house.
Yeah. Oh, right. By the way, we were able to get you some. Now, what's your favorite pie?
Apple.
This is raspberry.
Oh, I'd be so pissed.
A quick shot of this.
Beautiful.
You know what I just realized I do like about this? They're only focusing on certain people in the crew. And in every other scene, there's like a handful of more people that keep popping up that I'm like, who are they? And I've got good guesses because obviously one of those people were like, you know, catering. And then there's probably a production assistant in one of the other scenes that we saw. But on bigger tours, that's kind of how it is, to be honest. Like, if you're on a really big arena or stadium tour, you can go quite a while without knowing who a lot of people are. I mean, there's a tour I did once that was like a 4-month arena tour, and there were still, by the end of that tour, people that I would walk by backstage every day that I've seen. I knew they were on the tour, but I didn't know their names and I didn't know what they did. Because, I mean, there are tours that take upwards of 80, 90, 100 people for arenas and stadiums. You're talking way bigger than that. But yeah, if it's a big enough tour, you keep guessing like what people are doing. So I kind of like that in this show there are those moments, because that is a very real feeling. Yeah, at first I thought this was stupid, like the stalker thing, but now this is just purposely for a funny thing for TV. Like, oh my God, this is not going where I think it is. No.
Hi.
Kellyanne. Hi.
What you doing?
Oh, nothing. You know, just looking around.
Oh, nothing. Just playing with a microphone.
Oh my God, you look amazing. It's just that I was just with Dave Grohl, and he was with Lord, and Ben Harper was there, and Drake.
Sure, we all understand how you feel, Natalie. With your free
What'd you
will,
say?
could you just give me your
Dave
own-
Grohl, Lord, Ben Harper, and Drake all hanging out together?
Shelley, I got her. That is a very special microphone, and it was given to Tom by Bruce Springsteen.
I know. It's the actual one from the Dancing in the Dark video.
I feel like there's been a ton of name dropping in this for like legitimacy too. Like, I can't think of a lot of situations where bands I've worked for have used gear or something that's been given to them by somebody else.
And now just your laminate, Natalie.
You know, the one thing in that situation though that would have been really easy, I mean, I'll tell you right now, if I was in that situation, like, physically grab the person and drag them out. Or we've already had multiple heads of security that we've, or not multiple heads of security, but multiple security guards on this tour that we've seen. Be easy to just radio them and be like, hey, come take her, you know? I mean, I've seen people that have gotten on stage during shows get like tackled and dragged off stage. Like, because technically that is criminal trespassing. So you don't have to drag it on that long.
Got her, Puna?
I still think you're a great kisser, Bill.
I'll be a Manny for young Winston, aka the Devil Child.
God, I love you, Wes.
Wait, dude was a guitar tech for Pearl Jam, and now he's going to be the nanny?
Everything I expected from your sister.
Is he qualified?
I know.
See ya, Gooch.
I already forgot you.
What is the bus driver doing there still and not sleeping? Maybe they're doing a 2 in a row or something, and I'm not aware. Maybe they're doing a show there tomorrow and he doesn't have to drive anywhere, but
I'm bored.
I don't get that assumption.
I'm your guy.
You're fired, hipster asshole.
Firecrackers.
Firecrackers.
I don't know, man. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I think I liked it. I don't know, man. Let me switch back over to our little talking head scene here, and we'll talk a little about this. All right, so after the first episode, I think one of the big issues coming into this was that I remember when it was first introduced and it was being hyped, they made such a big deal about this being Cameron Crowe's show, and that because he spent time on the road and knows how things are, that this is going to be an absolute accurate representation of how roadies are on the road. And I just don't think that's true. Like, I mean, there were some things that had some good attention to detail, but then there are other things that were definitely over-exaggerated for TV and stuff like that. So I feel like if I take a step back and look at this not as a roadie, it was enjoyable. I think I would watch this whole series. I was into it. I think it does have a kind of a cool story after the first episode. A couple of the characters I do feel invested in. Like, I want to see what happens with their characters and stuff like that. But like, as a roadie, I don't know. It's hard to separate myself from that. Just because, again, it was like really overhyped that this was an accurate representation of like how road life is. So I don't know, man. If I'm being honest, I don't know if I want to keep doing this for YouTube. I'll really leave that up to you guys. I would probably watch this whole series on my own, but I don't know if we're going to keep doing these for YouTube, because sitting here and watching this, I don't know if it's going to be entertaining even when I edit the thing, when I go back now. But if there are any questions that you guys have, or there's anything left out, obviously this video is going to be cut up because we're not going to watch a whole hour of this show. But if you guys do have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll answer what I can. And if you guys are interested in this keeping going on, if you're interested in me doing this more with the rest of the episodes, just let me know. We'll do it. But if it were fully up to me, I don't even know if I would right now, to be honest, because this is less of a representation of road life and more of just another TV drama. And like I said, I think it'll be good if I watch the whole series, but it's not what I thought it was gonna be, if that makes any sense. But I'll leave it there, man. Like I said, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you're interested in me doing the whole series, let me know and we'll do it. But that's going to wrap it up for me. So if this is your first time here checking out any of my videos, feel free to click subscribe. I release new stuff all the time. If you liked the video, feel free to like it. If you disliked it, feel free to dislike it. Just know that I appreciate the time that you took to watch it. I'm also on a ton of different social media. I have a Discord server that we hang on. I have a Twitch that I stream on regularly. So if you're interested in joining us on any of that, I'll throw links in the description below. My handle on most everything social media is @TankTheTech. So if you want to keep up with me on tour, you can follow me there, and I'll have links to all of that in the description as well. But I don't know. We'll see if we do this more. But until next time, be safe, be kind to each other. Thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon.